Hello and welcome back. We are starting with a second animation, and that second animation is going to be a head turn. So we're going to do a little bit of character animation. For that, when I'm roughing out my stuff, I like to use the sketch brush, just right there. Perfect. So I created a new folder. I went Control N, and we'll call it Head Turn. Hit Create. And there we go. I'm going to close these other windows. All right, so we have Head Turn. So, like the previous one, I'm going to rename my layers. Double clicking, we have background, and we have our example layer. Let's just call it sketch, because we're going to sketch the head. So I'm going to start off with something very, very simple. We're going to have our character looking one way. And then he's going to have his head looking up, and he's going to be happy looking the other way. So let's draw kind of how we want our character to look. Remember, when you're starting drawing animation, make everything easy for yourself. We're going to make this very simple. So I'm going to have one eye, two eyes, one eye. Try to make them about the same size though. One eye, two eye. Now I'm going to be thinking, how do I want my animation to be? I'm looking one way, a little surprised, and then I look the other way and I'm happy. That's going to be animation we do. So I'm going to have him have kind of like a little bit of a bewildered sort of mouth right there. And then a happy mouth. So he's wondering about something over here, and then he sees it over here. And we can put an ear there if we want. Actually, let's not even worry about the ear yet. So now we need an in-between figure. I'm going to make this a little bit more of a purple, just so we can kind of tell what's going on. And I need a head size about the same. I'm going to stretch it just a little bit. I'm going to see what's in between this curve and this curve. Straight ahead. And what's in between this curve and this curve? It's like that. That would be a simple head turn like that. But we want a little bit of a looking down action. So we're going to put it down here. And then the mouth is going to be right about there. And also, when you look, sometimes we put a blink in there. So we're just going to put a little bit of expression. Okay, so this is our head turn. This is what we're going to animate. If something doesn't look right, like right now I don't like how this guy's so far over. So I'm going to take the lasso tool, just select him, and Control T, I'm going to move him, and I'm going to make him just a little bit smaller so he's about the right size. Okay, so this is the animation that we're going to do. Remember, Control Shift A is to select. I'm going to move him a little bit more into the center. Control T. And I'm going to make it a little bit, the whole thing a little bit bigger, because we don't need to draw so small. Perfect. Okay, now let's get started drawing. We've got sketch. Now we're going to do an animation. So, we can do a new layer. We can do it up here, or we can do the new layer down here in timeline. New layer, and we can say double click that, call it head turn. Head turn. All right. Now, with that, we're going to draw our character. So let's find a good line tool. For inking, make that a little bit smaller. And under color, we're going to choose black. So we're doing ink. Now we're just going to draw our character. So we've got frame 1, and that's a new frame, so I press N. I'm going to move over, press N again. I'm going to draw this other head. He's blinking, but he's still happy. Press over. New frame. I'm going to draw this one using all the guides that I made, and he's very happy. Okay, let's see how it looks. Set the end frame to 3. I'm going to turn off any onion skin and sketch. Turn off onion skin. There we go. And we'll press play. I don't want to drop any frames. So he's just looking. All right. Now we're going to add an in-between. So we're going to hold down Alt and scoot this over, make room for the new frames. So let's turn back on onion skin. This is kind of confusing because we don't need to see all the heads here. So when we turn on onion skin, we are going to turn off all but one in the future and one in the past. Hit new. Okay, so now here's a challenge. So we're going to kind of draw the head right in between these two. We're going to have the eyes lower. But they're not closed yet because blinking happens in an instant. Over and over, new again. And we're going to draw the head right in between. That's why they call them in-betweens. And the eyes, they're kind of coming out in that happy sort of look. Here we go. Let's turn off onion skin and give it a preview. End frame, we're going to say to loop 6 frames and press play. Ooh, for some reason I accidentally deleted a frame. There we go. Stop at frame 6. And there's our head turn. All right, now let's color this. So we're going to make a new layer. We're going to call it color. Good. Now we're going to go here, N. And by the way, if you click on something like, let's say, head turn, color goes away. To make sure that color does not go away when you are looking at another layer in animation, right-click and say Show in Timeline. There we go. Now it has that checkbox. Show in Timeline. Now it'll always be there. Okay, so now we just get our Fill tool. We'll select a color. We'll make him kind of a muted green. We'll fill. Over, new, fill. Oops. If that happens, threshold. If that happens, you'll have to use a brush first. We're gonna plug that hole. We're just gonna look for some holes. New. There's a hole, plug that. New, plug that hole, and new. There's a little gap right there that'll cause problems. Okay, now fill. Fill selection. Still end up with problems. Oh well. So apparently that did nothing. But that's okay. You can go through with the fast brush. And we will just fill that face. Now to get that from being behind, we're going to put color behind head turn. Then we're going to hold Control, select the white, and paint in the eye. And here we can paint in the eyes. And here we can paint in the eyes. Color pick that white. I'm just going to paint it into the eye. And we'll press play. And we have our first animation. Now, all we have to do to make this smoother is do in-betweens. That's the part that takes a lot of time, but it's also really a lot of fun, and it's a good way to learn. So to do the in-betweens, we'll just grab these two. Let's grab these frames, hold Alt, and move it over. Alt, and move those guys over. And then you'd have a new thing to do an in-between with. Anyway, this is how the process goes. So try it out for yourself and experiment. Have a good day.